give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Hey Zoe, I'm calling your show, 'cause I need to know. Show me which way to go before I throw my man out the door.
Okay, hold on a second, Keisha. Just let me ask Ronald exactly what's going on, because it takes two to tango, and I need to hear his side of the story.
So she's driving me insane, got stress heavy on my brain. She keeps playing silly games, man, I'm about to bring the pain. We seem to fuss and fight every day and every night. Please give some advice so we can see the light. See the light.
Narcissists, sociopaths, and psychopaths is their body language reveals a lot more than they might want to let on. Sociopaths and psychopaths in particular have to remind themselves to be human, be kind. They won't snuggle with you at night. You have to remind them. When I was dealing with somebody years ago who I now recognize as a psychopath, I gave them a hug, and I literally had to say, "Hug me back," because they were just standing there. They forgot for a second. And with covert narcissists, they will forget to have empathy. They're not going to instinctually do things that require empathy because they only have a logical understanding of empathy. So if you fall in the next room with a covert narcissist and you're screaming, they have to remind themselves, oh, I should help. They're not just going to instinctually jump up and help right away like somebody with empathy would. And sometimes they won't help at all if there's not other witnesses there or if they just don't feel like it. All that body language line stuff you can just chuck right out the window when it comes to a sociopath, psychopath, or a covert narcissist. They lie like they're ordering lunch. It's not like they won't make eye contact with you when they lie. They'll make too much eye contact with you to the point that you're like, nobody could stare someone in the face and lie and be so convincing. But they do. Catching a psychopath or a sociopath off guard is really hard. Admittedly, I've tried to do it a lot during my career as a news reporter. Try to get them to truthfully answer one of the interview questions. And it's nearly impossible, but when you do...
Andy, who is that lady? Danielle Radin. She's a journalist, I take it? Very interesting stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, the voice of reason has returned to the scene of the conversation. You already know what we do here. We have these difficult conversations because no one else will. That's all. No one else will have these conversations. And we have lived in relational la-la land long enough, which is why I like to keep my foot on the necks of the listeners. That's not nice to say. I don't want to keep my foot on your neck, but I do want to challenge you. You already know what it is, the voice of reason, the VOR, Zoe Williams, live from the heart of Leimert Park, as Dominique DePrima calls it, Little Africa Town. You know what it is, Los Angeles in the house. Let's talk about tonight's topic. This is going to hurt a lot of people because you've heard me talk about this before. Again, I'm in my local cigar lounge and we're having our cigars and deep conversations. And, you know, everybody's talking about your behavior says all I need to know. I know if you real based on how you show up. And as the journalist, Miss Radin, just explained, eloquently I may add, that it's really hard to catch someone who has been perfecting using their body language as their most effective communication tool. Tonight's topic, the behavioral mirage. Why good behavior often masks psychological scar tissue. Exploring the idea of why behavior may be the most sought after quality in intimate relationships, but on the other hand, can also be the most effective lie ever told. Let's break it down. I was raised in a temple where silence wore crowns, where emotions got jailed, but behavior got gowns. They said, act like you got it, but I've never felt seen. Just a boy confidently playing a role on a cognitive green screen. What if your calm is just covert distress? A glacier of grief wearing your Sunday's best. You call it compromise. I call it coerced. A stillness reversed. A volcano. This is deep, right? Y'all like, what is this, spoken word? Yep. So tell me, is behavior divine or just the body's disguise? When it's too unsafe to shiver, to question, to allow yourself to finally rise. Trust. Who's consistent? That's trauma's twin. The metronome beat of what should have been kin. Is it love or your limbic system chasing a ghost? Mimicking the parent who abandoned you the most. Control ain't character. It's choreography worn. A masquerade ball since the day we were born. You call it mature, I call it subdued. A virtue-shaped vice that we culturally glued. But what's well-behaved when the soul is in a cell? Is that grace or a glamour spell? I love how they make me feel, but is that devotion or co-regulation performed in slow motion? Are you in love with a face or a role they rehearse? Did you meet their essence or their trauma's verse? If your soulmate's a script, is your bond even true? Or just a synchronized trigger that's soothing you? If they never erupt, are they truly composed or just emotionally airbrushed, silently closed? You call it chemistry, but I see a trance, a tango of wounds in behavioral dance. Let's Socratic it, flip it, dismantle the shrine. Is good behavior timeless or tethered to time? A slave behaves to dodge the lash. A child conforms to avoid the crash. A partner smiles. Not. Y'all with it? Wounds Tango? They like my poetry. I love it. The chat room is in there. Love y'all feeling well? A child conforms to avoid the crash. A partner smiles to not be left. But inside they tremble, starved, bereft. If acting right means avoiding pain, then behavior's a ghost with a gold-plated chain. It ain't the truth. It's survival's suit. Truth lies where the body's mute. Ooh, you praise the regulated. I say it's aesthetic. They cry like sonnets, but can't touch the frenetic. If someone's composed, is that your soul or sedation? Or trauma trimmed down for polite presentation? What if your version of safe and wise is just trauma in formal wear, tailored to size? Your emotionally safe is just trauma that rhymes, a lullaby trapped in symmetrical lines. Yo, maturity ain't stoic freeze. It's the sacred mess of authentic release. Listen, the voice of reason is in here on the mic tonight. Where are my finger snaps? I need some Listen, I'm here to tell you guys. So many people think behavior is the end all be all. You got to show up this way. You got to be this way. You got to act this way. Listen, most people are doing just that. They're acting. They're not true. Why? Why so? Why so? Why are you so? People tell me you're a pessimist. People, listen. A lot of people perform, right, to conform, to keep their partners safe or close. They don't want to lose their partner, right? So they will act a certain way. And I'm here to tell you the most effective lie ever used is behavior. All I got to do is act right, and then you'll act right. And I know it's difficult for people to see that or even hear that. The behavioral mirage. Why good behavior often masks psychological scars. Your psychological insight here, people pleasing and over-functioning, often stem from fawn responses rooted in attachment trauma, not intimate goodness. Innate goodness. You remember I did that show and I said, are you really a nice person? Or are you performing nice? Using your behavior to convey nice. Your clinical insight here, as Babette Rothschild explains, freeze fawn states can produce hyper-control behavioral mimics. Behavioral mimics, yes. These mimics can mimic emotional availability, right? Your philosophical insight, from Krishnamurti's lens, conformity to social expectation is the death of authenticity. What behaves well often conforms best. Is this you in your intimate relationship? Are you putting your best behavior forward? Ooh, Lord, metaphysical insight. Dr. David R. Hawkins reminds us that behavior at lower levels of consciousness may appear moral, but they also may be motivated by guilt, fear, or pride. Sheesh. Lie by performance. Are you guilty of it? I'm not talking about, see, people think if I don't say a lie, I didn't lie. But what if you acted out a lie and been acting out a lie so that they won't fly away, so that they won't leave you, so that they won't abandon you? Can we be honest? Lie by performance. How nervous system our nervous system rehearses trust without feeling safe. Your psychological insight: many emotionally regulated individuals are disassociative, not secure. Stillness often equates shutdown, not peace. Your clinical insight: polyvagal theory shows that vagal shutdown can mimic calm, creating false signals of trustworthiness. Y'all thought Zoe made it up. Behavior is the most effective lie, especially if you're not good with your mouthpiece. Ooh, am I calling out men? We haven't been taught to really express ourselves authentically, raw, unedited. So what do? We use our performance as a means to communicate. Didn't I do that for you? Because I don't do that for everybody. Yeah, you should know that means, right? Your philosophical insight: if behavior is a mask, can we ever know the actor? Nietzsche would say, we are unknown to ourselves. Your spiritual insight or your metaphysical insight: stillness without presence is not peace. It is merely a spiritual bypass. Real presence trembles before it stabilizes. The honesty illusion: why we mistake familiar behavior for moral character. You've been programmed to accept a certain type of behavior as moral. Your psychological insight here: attachment patterns condition us to associate familiar behavior such as intensity or avoidance with love. Does that mean they really love? No, they're performing it. Your clinical insight: as shown in betrayal trauma research, partners often misread compulsive behavior as commitment. Sartre's bad faith suggests we lie to ourselves first, so we may believe our behavior is virtuous. Man, the voice of reason is on complete fire tonight. Listen, I want to talk to y'all tonight. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Get to your phone lines. I'm ready to talk to y'all. The number to dial is 1-800-920-1580.
Relationships. Got you confused? Need some straight talk? This is where you get the unfiltered truth about love, relationships, and everything in between. He breaks down relationship dynamics with no-nonsense wisdom and practical advice that actually works. Tackling the questions you're afraid to ask and giving you the answers you need to hear. You're inside the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
Why'd I go to the doctor? One day at the firehouse, I was so lightheaded I could barely stand. Even my crew noticed. Getting checked out was the right call. Turns out I have atrial fibrillation, which increases the risk of stroke about 5 times.
Symptoms like irregular heartbeat, heart racing, chest pain, shortness of breath, fatigue, or lightheadedness can come and go. But if it's AFib, the risk of stroke remains. If you have symptoms, contact a doctor.
I'm so glad I did.
Visit notimetowait.com, sponsored by Bristol-Myers Squibb and Pfizer.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580 is committed to self-care and community well-being. Walk Good LA was formed in June 2020, inspired by the Black Lives Matter movement and the beginning stages of the COVID-19 pandemic. What began as a few minutes of breath work and yoga meditation before protests against police brutality turned into a safe space for the community to heal in hard times. The immensely positive response from the community transformed the momentum into a movement. Today, Walk Good LA is a black and brown-led led community wellness organization based in Los Angeles. They provide spaces for healing through community yoga classes, guided meditations, hikes, run clubs, and other activations throughout Los Angeles that attract hundreds of members weekly. With the help of Propel and Michael B. Jordan, they now have a yoga and wellness studio in Los Angeles called the Walk Good Yard. To join their mailing list and connect with healing spaces, please visit walkgoodla.org. That's walkgoodla.org. Or find them on Instagram at walkgoodla. This is a community call to action, a community call to healing from KBLA Talk 1580.
You know you want some more. It's the voice of reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
There exists a profound truth that has eluded mankind since the dawn of consciousness. The future you so desperately fear has no reality beyond the thoughts you give it. While you stand anchored in this moment, your mind races forward, constructing elaborate fortresses against dangers that may never materialize. This division, this mental exile from the present, is the source of your greatest suffering and the thief of your most precious possession, the power of now. Consider carefully what happens when you dwell perpetually in the realm of tomorrow. Anxiety becomes your constant companion, whispering of what might be, what could go wrong, what others might think. Paralysis grips your will as you await perfect conditions that never arrive. Your energy, that divine force meant for creation and growth, is consumed by phantom battles against circumstances that exist only in your imagination. I have witnessed countless souls, vibrant with potential, who have withered while waiting. They polish plans instead of creating results. They rehearse conversations never spoken. They solve problems never faced. And in this waiting, precious moments slip through their fingers like sand. Moments that could have been vessels for joy, growth, and meaningful achievement. The tragedy is not merely in the time lost, but in the life unlived. For while your body occupies the present, your spirit wanders the barren landscape of an imagined future, leaving you a stranger to your own existence. You become like a man dying of thirst while sleepwalking through a garden of fountains, unable to drink because your mind is fixed on distant mirages. Now, I ask you to look unflinchingly at your own life. How many days have you postponed your power, waiting for certainty that never comes? How often have you said, "I will begin when I feel more prepared," or "I will act when the path is clear"? How many opportunities have passed while you stood frozen in the paralysis of analysis? The shame you feel in never starting, acknowledge it. the regret of talents unexpressed, face it squarely. The emptiness that comes from perpetual preparation without performance, let it speak its truth.
Listen, man, the voice of reason is in here. I'm not going to play with you. You're not relationship ready if you refuse the individuation process. You are prone to lie to yourself and others, and you're prone to perform in relationship using your body language as your most effective communication tool. And what did we say early? You guys heard us earlier this year. Many topics. We've mentioned this. People with insecure attachment styles have been conditioned since childhood to manipulate. They manipulate through word, act, and deed. Do you understand? In Jungian psychology, individuation is a lifelong process of integrating conscious and unconscious aspects of the personality to become a unique, whole individual. If you're broken, seeking your better half, you're only going to call in a mirror that reflects back to you your own brokenness. This individuation process, it involves recognizing one's own distinctiveness and potential, moving beyond societal expectations and ego-driven desires to align with oneself, their true self. This journey aims for self-realization and the development of a balanced, authentic being. We find ourselves in relationships. The problem is we don't find our whole self because we are self-avoidant to a great degree. We don't want to bring or acknowledge, well, we can't help but bring this part of ourselves to the relationship, but we don't want to acknowledge the broken part, the repressed part, the suppressed part, the hidden part, the part that we are not proud of. Trust actions. Nah, not if they're staged. Not if they're filtered, trauma encaged. What if the action's a weapon, a shield, a polished mirage that trauma concealed? People want to show up doing a show. They in a showman's. They want to pop out and show you that they're worthy, instead of being worthy. When we come forward, the phone lines are going to continue to get ready to get going. Let's go.
He's on fire tonight. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams, exclusively on KBLA Talk 1580.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. It is back to school season, and the Cleveland Clinic is offering tips on getting children back into an earlier sleep schedule. Sleep specialist Dr. Brian Chin advises parents to start gradually getting children to bed earlier.
And if you start trying to scoot it back now, it will be a gradual scooting back instead of a cold turkey flip back to school time, which could be really rough for that first week of school.
A black man charged in connection with a violent brawl in downtown Cincinnati, Ohio, appeared in court. Dominic Kittle was charged with felonious assault and aggravated riot for allegedly hitting a man in the face, knocking him unconscious. Kittle is being held on a $100,000 bond. His attorney says the victim called his client the N-word before he was struck. And former NFL player Cam Newton is pushing for ESPN to give HBCUs the game day spotlight. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Rapid radios are instant push-to-talk walkie-talkies offering national LTE coverage and no subscription ever. Perfect for instant contact with an aging parent. For a limited time, go to rapidradios.com and you'll get an extra 60% off, free UPS shipping, and add code radio for an extra 5% off.
Yeah, y'all, come on. Here come the drums.
At KBLA Talk 1580, we fight the power every day.
Yeah, got to give us what we want. Gotta give us what we need. Hey!
I listen to KBLA and I love the commercials. I know what the commercials mean. I also, if I'm looking and trying to figure something out, I need something to talk to me that might hit me. And it happens on TV because, you know, every time they show a sporting event, they got the pharmaceutical companies back to back to back telling people how to fix the sickness on the same stuff that they sell them. So we get it.
Yep, we get it too, Chuck D. And that's why at KBLA Talk 1580, we don't black down.
Drop it! Our freedom of speech is freedom of death. We got to fight the powers that be. Fight the power! Fight the power! Fight the power!
Yo, it's So Williams, the VOR, and I know you're tired of pretty gems with pretty lies, where people seem to scroll more than they sweat. Well, it's time to level up. Welcome to Huff and Puff, where excuses die and champions rise. Smack dab at 1221 North La Brea on the corner of Fairview. This ain't a photo shoot, it's a battleground. Certified achievers in the game. Trainers who grind with you, not post pictures beside you. Whether you're chasing your next personal record or just trying to outrun your past, this is your sanctuary of sweat. No mirrors, no filters, no fluff, just pain, passion, and purpose. Stop talking, start training, huff hard, puff loud, be legendary. Where folks go to war with their weaknesses. Huff and Puff.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. LA County's new Justice Care and Opportunities Department, or JCOD, is here to support justice-involved individuals and their families. The JCOD Support Center is now taking calls at 1-833-LACJCOD. That's 1-833-522-5263. Available 7 days a week from 6 a.m. to 11 p.m., the Support Center is your one-stop shop for re-entry issues and court support. They offer court reminders, connections to local services, transportation assistance for housing, court appearances, and childcare. The JCOD hotline provides personalized help to connect you with services that you need. And don't forget to check out justiceconnect.org for more information. Remember, it's free and available every day at 1-833-522-5263. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Wesley Financial Group is not a law firm.
Hi, I'm Chuck McDowell, the timeshare cancellation guy. In 2011, I founded Wesley Financial Group with one goal in mind: to help honest folks out of their timeshares permanently. Today, I run Wesley with my two sons, a real family business, treating every client and every employee like we'd want our own family treated. That philosophy has helped us grow into the largest, most trusted timeshare cancellation company in the United States. Fortune magazine even recognized us as one of the best places to work. Why? Because we genuinely care. In fact, some of our former clients were so moved by their experience working with us, they joined our team so they could help others to timeshare freedom. If you're stuck in a timeshare, give us a call. Let our family help your family.
Call Wesley now for your free timeshare exit kit. 800-687-7979. That's 800-687-7979. 800-687-7979.
Lena Bloom for the Bail Project. Imagine you're stuck in a jail cell and you can't afford bail and someone offers you a way out. Just plead guilty and you can go home and kiss your kids goodnight. What do you do? What thousands have. You plead guilty whether you are or not. Cash bail makes poverty a crime. That's why the Bail Project helps those who can't afford it while fighting to end cash bail. Because freedom should be free.
Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is KBLA Talk 1580. Talk radio that's music to your ears. We're unapologetically progressive. KBLA Talk 1580. You're listening to the voice of reason with Zoe Williams. Only on KBLA Talk 1580.
Love can only exist when the perceiver is the perceived and acts, as we said. Then that flame, that compassion, that sense of holding the earth in your arms, as it were. Mm-hmm. If that is understood, and from that behavior, because that is the foundation. If there is no behavior in the sense of non-conflicting behavior, then after establishing that in ourselves or in observing it, we can proceed next to the question of death.
Krishnamurti, no, not conflicting behavior. Again, if you haven't totally accepted yourself as you are, embraced yourself, loved yourself deeply, right? You are in open revolt against yourself. And so you are subject to performing an act in your relationships, right? And oftentimes, based on attachment theory, if you have an insecure attachment style, the demands, they might be silent contracts. They might be under your spirit's breath. You must give me what my primary caregiver never gave to me. We become behavioral fundamentalists, right? These, bottom line, you got to show up like this for me. And yet, the incongruity here, the incongruence, I should say, is you've never showed up for yourself. You've only demanded that others show up for you. Behavioral fundamentalism. How we replace truth with predictability. Why actions aren't always the truth. Sometimes they're signs of disassociation and behavior, trauma, and control. Your psychological insight here. We fetishize, right, consistency because it offers control, not connection. Predictability soothes, the inner child's chaos. I need to be able to rely on you. I need to be able to trust you. I need to know that you're going to be there. Right? Your clinical insight. Trauma survivors often confuse regulated behavior with emotional safety, even when it's rooted in suppression. Your philosophical inauthenticity. Living in accordance with the they, das Man, not the self. That's what Heidegger called it. Your spiritual insight. True love begins when behavior is no longer a requirement for connection. The soul cannot be systematized. This reminds me of the great Krishnamurti, a.k.a. Krishnahurti, Uncle Hurti. He said, truth is a pathless land, and unconditional love is much like that. But we live in a society that basically says love must be performative in order for it to be authentic. We live in a society that says you must show up for me because my first experience with love was with someone that didn't always show up for me, a.k.a. my primary caregiver. So largely, most of our interactions are performative. Or showcases of what we would look like if we were actually healed. And then we can't keep the performance up, and then relational entropy seeps in, and the relationship begins to break down into chaos. Can you read the behavioral lie? How we project wounds onto the behavior of others. Yikes. Here's your psychological insight. Most people read behavior through the lens of unresolved wounds, not objective reality. I'm sorry. People do it all the time. Have you seen somebody interpret you and your intent? It's almost like they think they're in your head. They think they understand why you do what you do. or why you are the way you are, and they interpret it from their lens, from their perspective? Most people are doing that. No one has ever just saw you for who you were and had no criticism, critique, or judgment for it. That's truly being seen. Oh, I know you don't want to hear it put that way. Most people read behavior through the lens of unresolved wounds, not objective reality. The clinical insight, misattunement in childhood distorts neuroception. Our internal radar for safety is miscalibrated. Do you see? The point of these shows is to say, if you don't have a solid handle on why you do what you do, right? The you behind the behavior, right? The you behind the car, the you behind the success, the you behind the money, the you behind the talent. If you're uncomfortable with that, relationship will never be a safe haven for you. It'll only be a place that will trigger this you've never got to know. Wow. In phenomenology, perception is always colored by intentionality. How you look determines what you see. Ooh, projection is spiritual amnesia. We forget we are the ones narrating what we see based on fear, not truth. Now, apply that to religion. How many people, pastors, you see out there speaking for God? Huh? This is what God wants you to do. I know y'all not, you can't think for the incomprehensible. You can't speak for the unutterable. But it is your fear and your unhealed wounds that makes you think you can. Now, we said Joan of Arc was crazy because she wanted to keep going to war, didn't we? Somebody called Joan of Arc out and said, okay, ain't nobody else to kill, Joan. You still getting messages from God to keep these? Listen, the behavioral addiction, why we cling to surface over soul. Emotional intensity becomes addictive when it mirrors our early trauma template. As Patrick Carnes outlines, trauma bonding attaches us to the drama of behavior, not the depth of being. How many people know just how to be in a relationship? And I mean be from a place of resonance. The me, like the you resonates. How many people know how to do that? How many people know how to tap into that resonance? The resonance of you. Nah, most of us got to do something to show ourselves approved. Eric Fromm argued, we prefer possession of traits over presence. Behavior is something we can possess. You cannot awaken by analyzing behavior. Awakening begins when we surrender the need to know and control. This is real relating right here. Now, you see, we got youngsters in the booth right now. They know tonight's conversation. Tonight's conversation, I've already said it. I said, listen, man, most relationship specialists out there are nothing but sociologists. They're teaching you what's happening in society and how to act and behave accordingly. If you really get into relationship work, you're getting into individuation work. You're getting into spiritual the spiritual curriculum that leads to self-realization, self-awareness, self-actualization, self-individuation. This is what the Buddhists called nirvana, moksha, the burning out of the ego. This is what real relationships are about, and this ain't easy work. And most people run from meaning because meaning doesn't always feel good. When I come forward, the voice of reason is gonna continue to cook. You think I ain't got the ingredients to keep cooking? When niceness is a weapon, how socially rewarded behavior obscures your shadow work. When we come forward, we're going to get deeper.
Is it good to you? More Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams when we come forward.
During this time, it's important for everyone to know your rights. The 4th, 5th, and 6th Amendments in the U.S. Constitution protects every one of us, regardless of immigration status. The 4th Amendment requires a judicial warrant to search your home. The 5th protects your right to remain silent, and the 6th gives you the right to an attorney. Just remember,
No warrant, no key. 556. You don't have to speak. No 556. No lawyer inside. Don't say a thing. Yeah, we all got right.
Hey, we all got right. KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. If you need help getting your resume in order, finding job training, or landing a job, we've got 3 great options for you. First, the City of Los Angeles has WorkSource centers across the area offering free job support. The California Workforce Development Board can help you with everything from GED prep to vocational training at no cost to you. On the federal level, the Department of Labor's American Job Centers offer a full range of services for job seekers and businesses alike. Visit careeronestop.org, or for more info, just call California's Help Center or visit cwdb.ca.gov or call 916-657-1440. For the City of Los Angeles programs, go to ewd.lacity.gov or call 213-744-7300. All these services are free to help you get your next job. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Ready to order?
Yes. We're earning unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with a Capital One Saver card, so let's just get one of everything.
Everything?
Fire everything. The Capital One Saver card is at table 27, and they're earning unlimited 3% cash back.
Yes, Chef! This is so nice.
Had a feeling you'd want 3% cash back on dessert.
Ooh, tiramisu.
Earn unlimited 3% cash back on dining and entertainment with the Capital One Saver card. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com for details.
My mom has decided to learn to paint, and she's good.
My dad's now into creative cuisine, and I've already put on 6 pounds.
Learning new things comes with age.
My mom, she started forgetting my name and what we're talking about.
Forgetting well-known things doesn't. Memory loss may be a sign of Alzheimer's disease. Early detection gives you and your loved one time to plan for the future. Learn the warning signs of Alzheimer's at 10signs.org. Brought to you by the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
You know you want some more. It's the Voice of Reason with Zoe Williams on KBLA Talk 1580.
here's the most perfect formula for human behavior that I think will ever explain a human being. I want to find out how this person reacts to conflict and how they make friends and how they socialize. Because every human being is a product of how, when they were 8 or 9 years old, how they earned friends, gained rewards, and kept themselves safe. So what did I do at 8 or 9 years old to be safe? All of those three, well, we have something called the childhood development triangle. Maybe you could throw it up on the screen. What did I do to earn friends, earn rewards, and sometimes rewards are recognition. If you grew up in a really bad environment, sometimes the reward was water or food for a kid. And then the third is, what did I do to feel safe? And those little behaviors that we memorize at 8 or 9 years old, without us ever knowing, we carry that into adulthood. So I'm seeing childhood behaviors in every adult. I'm seeing how they deal with conflict. That's what worked at 8 or 9. And I just say 8 or 9 as a random number, but in those formative developmental years.
I mean, is that our brother? Is that Ross Rossenberg? That's who it sounded like. Andy, who is that? You guys know I listen to the clips with you. This is my first time hearing it. Chase Hughes was on complete fire. And again, why is it important that we break all of this down? Because many of us go into relationships blind. Right? Blind, self-blind, and blind of the other. Blind to the other. Right? But what we do know definitively, right? And I'm saying from a visceral, experiential space, is what this wound requires. Right? We know this wound wants an answer from this person. And if this person so happens to even give us a crumb of what we think this wound may want, then we begin to go into performance mode to try to secure that supply. This is why I've always said I don't believe that narcissists are the only people that, try to get supply from people. I also think their mirror, which is the codependent, or what Ross Rossenberg called the self-love deficient, the SLD, or those who suffer from SLDD, self-love deficient disorder, which he saw as a type of addiction, right? People don't understand the roles of good parenting. When you miss an opportunity to really tap into the need of your child, you become inconsistent with their need. I think you create gaps. You create gaps, holes in their spirit, that if you don't go back to reattune or to kind of heal, they go out into the world with those holes. And they're looking for someone to fill them. Now, the great Quincy Jones told me, he said, man, listen, Zoe, man, so many people have holes, and, you can't fill those holes from the outside, Telling you, man, many people don't know the melody of their own spirit, My Quincy Jones impersonation is terrible. However, he was right. You see, parents have such an important role. That's why no one should take that lightly. Can you imagine a broken child growing into a broken human being and then weaponize niceness? It happens all the time. Women experience the fake nice guy all the time, who then later gets upset when she doesn't capitulate to his demands after he's displayed so many niceties, right? He's taken you to the best dinner. He's pulled the chair out. He paid your rent. He bought you a cell phone. And then when he doesn't get what he wants, which is the intention behind the behavior. This is why I've always said to women, I've told my daughter this, hey, baby, it's not the behavior, it's the intent behind the behavior. But women have been conditioned to say behavior, or people have been conditioned to say behaviors speak louder than words. And I say, no. Intentions speak louder than behaviors. And a man's intention connects with a woman's intuition. And if she's paying attention to her intuition, she can feel that although the behavior is expertly executed, his intent is off. Have you ever had somebody do everything right, but you still, ladies, I'm talking to you, but you still felt spiritually ajar, like something is misaligned, even though everything lined up? Performatively, like his actions, he didn't actually do anything to hurt you. However, his intent was concealed. When niceness is a weapon, how socially rewarded behavior obscures shadow. Nice behavior can mask covert aggression or suppression of authentic emotional expression. Covert narcissism often wears the mask of empathy and cooperation because it garners approval. Ladies, I know you've experienced this. As Jung said, people will do anything, no matter how absurd, to avoid facing their own soul. The nice persona is often an egoic strategy. Soul work requires confrontation, not comfort. How many of you have been lying to yourself and accepting the performative lie from others? When we come forward, I'm going to the phone lines.
So satisfying to me, I must confess it, girl. Ooh, and I like it. You send chills up my spine every time I take one look at you.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Misty Jordan with BIN News Now. It is back to school season, and the Cleveland Clinic is offering tips on getting children